Hi everyone, Chris Stanley here from my porch in Canfield. I wanted to check in with you this week, and not about a policy or not about an idea I had on this or that, but I wanted to check in about mental health. And here's why. As I'm making calls around the district and I'm speaking with people from everywhere, a common theme is anxiety and fear, and depression and uncertainty. And let's think about it. I mean, with the state of our nation, with coronavirus, with the biggest political scandal in Ohio history happening last week, there's a lot of that going around, and rightfully so. And listen, full disclosure, there are a lot of times when I have anxiety, when I have my own depression, when I feel that sometimes perhaps I'm not up to this task. But you know what? Being the true nerd I am, when I feel lost or I feel hopeless, I often turn to the great leaders in our history to see what they have to say about these things. And, I remembered a speech Eleanor Roosevelt gave on December 7th, 1941. By the way, she preempted FDR's speech, the date which will live in infamy speech, which would happen later that evening. She was first. Here's what she said. She said, "You cannot escape anxiety. You cannot escape a clutch of fear at your heart. And yet I hope that the certainty of what we have to meet will make you rise above these fears." Obviously, I don't want to hyperbolize. What we are facing is not what they were facing on December 7th, 1941. However, that really rang true for me. You know, we have quite a task at hand for us here to regain trust in our government, to put our government back on the right track, and to have our government work for its people and not for the corporations and special interests anymore. You know, I know that what I'm fighting for in this race is right. And as I'm talking to people, you echo that. And that really gives me strength and gives me resolve to carry on in this election. And I remember too that those who are loud and cruel, while they may take up the majority of our news cycle and our social media mentions, they do not make up the majority of the people in our towns and in our cities across our state. I heard David McCullough say one time that so much of our attention is taken up with bad news, greed or cruelty or outrageous behavior of one kind or another, that we forget we are a good country. We are a good people. And with the right kind of purpose in our leaders, there's truly still very little we can't accomplish. And boy, is he right. That leads me right into Abraham Lincoln, right? Let us have faith that right makes might. And in that faith, let us to the end do our duty as we understand it. We are going to accomplish much in the next year. We will do it with our eyes wide open to our own history, the good and the bad, but with always a nod to the future. Now, McCullough went on to say in that same interview, I heard him, he said, "I think that knowledge of history increases one's optimism. It doesn't make one oblivious to what the problems really are. In fact, in many cases, it makes those problems even more vivid. But there is a lesson from these people who preceded us that it can be done." And I don't know, maybe that's why I'm an eternal optimist. But I believe in us. I believe in the people here. So when you get depressed, when you feel anxious, and maybe that all hope is lost, just remember that most people are good. Don't forget to see the good and to fight for everything you have to make sure we see that good through. You're not alone. We are in this together. And in fact, together is the only way we're going to come through the other side. I'm going to end you with a story. So in 1813, we are in the War of 1812 with Great Britain. And the powerful British Navy had occupied Lake Erie, taken it over. The entire Northwest Territory was falling with the combined British naval forces on Lake Erie and the ground forces led by Tecumseh. They took Detroit. The entire Northwest Territory was falling. All that stood in its way was Ohio, and then the entire Northwest Territory would have fallen into British hands. And Oliver Hazard Perry, they built ships on Lake Erie. They were going to attack the formidable British fleet, who had never been defeated in open naval warfare before that time. He had a flag made, and it said simply, "Don't give up the ship." And as he raised that flag to the top of his ship, cheers went out from his crew, and that spread to the other crews around. And even as the Lawrence, his ship's name, even as that was sinking after it took fire, He took the flag down. On a rowboat, of course, that famous painting that hangs at the top of the rotunda in the State House. He had that flag. And on the next ship, the Niagara, he raised it up high again. Don't give up the ship. The British was badly defeated, but they sort of expected the Americans to retreat because that's how it always had been. They didn't. They stayed and fought, and they handed the British Navy their first crushing defeat in their history, saving the Northwest Territory and probably the entire war effort from that. I know it seems that the problems we're facing might be insurmountable, but don't give up the ship. We are in this thing. We are going to see it through and make sure we are on the right track again. Stand with me. Don't give up the ship. Okay? Thanks for listening to me, everyone. Listen, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. We have been through a lot this year, and it's only halfway over. So we still have a lot that we're going to have to face. Be strong. If you ever need to talk to anyone, you want to reach out, I'm here. Shoot me a message, give me a call, and we'll talk. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.